Hello, everyone, and welcome. Come on in. I'm so glad to be here with you again today. Larkin Cell here from the US, from Cincinnati, Ohio. And it's always a pleasure being here with all of you. I'm a little bit under the weather today, so if I seem a little slow or my energy seems a little different, that's why. It's okay. It's still just a pleasure to be here with all of you. I'm going to take my moment. I always wait for all of you for the broadcast to start to go ahead and light my incense and candle so we can do that together to set the mood, to clear the air, to shift the frequency, to get our senses engaged. And I'll start with our lovely little candle here. I actually love this rose gold candle. It's so regal and angelic. So I always like to invite all of you to set the mood wherever you are as well. That's how I start out this broadcast every week. If you have a candle or incense that you would like to light during this broadcast to help connect and link up the different paradigms, the different dimensions and worlds that we're going to be connecting with today, I invite you to do that. I also encourage you to bring a drink of your choice to enjoy, preferably non alcoholic. I have a Coke here, which helps clear my throat when I'm speaking to you. And then today, I wanted to share with you, since I'm a little under the weather, I love ginger, turmeric, and lemon. Today, I don't have the ginger, but a friend of mine who's a holistic healer. Hi, Casey, welcome. He recommended that I add some baking soda. Hi, Shield. Welcome. I'm well. Thank you. I was just sharing, I'm a little under the weather today. So I have this delicious hot concoction of a turmeric, lemon, and baking soda. Good evening, Jackie. But I usually add ginger instead of the baking soda. So we're going to see if the baking soda uh, helps at all. But I want to share that with you. And just inviting everyone. Welcome, Eva. Come on in, everyone. I wanted to invite you again to light your candles or incense and bring your wonderful drink and make sure you're nice and comfy. I'm going to light a little jasmine for us today for our incense. Hello, Shelly. Welcome. And I want to remind all of you too. Hi, Sarah Michelle. Absolutely. I just want to remind everyone that, you can ask questions for readings. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome. I'd love to give you some guidance from Spirit. Hello, Kelly. Welcome. I just want to share with all of you, we have all different types of questions and readings that you can ask. Brillick, welcome. I'm going to try to get to as many people as possible. Yes. So if you have mediumship questions, hello, Mo. If you have any questions about non-physical or metaphysical, you're welcome, Sarah. We'll start with you in just a moment. Hello, Karen. I just always like to preface all of this. Once you have your drink and your candles and incense and you're all comfy, that you can ask anything metaphysical you like. So it could be a reading. It could be maybe questions connecting with your angels or spirit guides or past lives or dreams. Because one of the things I like to really emphasize, and I know poor Veronica hears me say this every week, but it's also your own ability to connect to spirit. Casey says, will my son move into my new home after I have moved in there? Yes, I do believe that he will. So I just want you guys, nice to see you too, Beth, to know that you can ask any of those things, because although I love doing readings, I also love to bring spirit through to answer your questions for self-empowerment. Okay. Also animals. If you have animal communication or mediumship questions, feel free to ask those too. Okay. Anything and everything is available to you. Mo, how can I blend my energies with departed loved ones when meditating? Wow, that's an awesome question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Sarah because she popped up first, and then if I don't know if Veronica can tag that post. I have my phone actually across the way here. How can I blend my energies? Um, so I want to then, Mo, I want to get your question because that's really, really important. And whenever someone has a reading or a question, please keep in mind, I know you guys are, you want the answers to your reading questions, but keep in mind that spirit chooses, and I will, take what shows up on the screen and what I'm drawn to. I try to get through as many as possible. And if you don't get a reading today, that's okay. Spirit will come through at the perfect time for you. And it means that your spirit guides, loved ones, and angels have stepped back a little, because spirit knows who needs what and they know the perfect timing. Okay. And I definitely want to answer questions about how to connect with loved ones and spirits, because really, you don't really need me. Okay. You guys can actually all do this and be able to take readings and the wisdom from spirit and build a deeper connection for yourself. Okay. So Sarah, let's begin with you. Since we have a real short time here, is there something that you would like to ask? Often the way someone phrases it in and of itself helps the information they're looking for to come through. And that's why I asked that question. Otherwise, it's a big flood of things most of the time just pouring in. Is there something specific you want to ask about, Sarah? Ugh, the baking soda. Okay. um, there are a lot of, oh, just anything that comes. Okay. What's coming in from your spirit guides right now and angels, and you also have a couple of animal totems that have been trying to come through to you. So, uh, so you have some winged spirit guides, animal totems trying to come through to you. I'm asking them to be more specific. Hmm. Looks like I see a mockingbird, a songbird, and an owl. So you might want to look those up. I always recommend Animal Speak or Animal Wise, those books. Um, they have messages for you. Those are so our animal guides and animal totems are not always sorry, I'm having side conversations. They're not always, we have ones that we have for a lifetime, and then we have ones that pop in and out throughout our lives. And so you may see them in unusual places. They may have unusual behavior, and they don't necessarily have to be in your region. So you could have a kookaburra, for example, in Australia, and you could be living in the UK, but it might pop up in other ways. It doesn't mean that's not still your guiding energy. Okay. And so when you're going through different times of your life, you can have different animal totems that step forward. So right now I would be looking up mockingbird, owl, and songbirds. I just see songbird. I'm not getting exactly what type. It could be a finch. It looks like it's yellow, like it has yellow and black. Those would be symbolic of messages that you need to have right now energetically in your life. I'm also told that you need to simplify and lighten your load a little bit. Are you taking on too much or considering taking on something else at the moment? Because what I'm seeing is you're about to embark on what could be a sort of an imbalance, and they're saying that that can be fixed by simply by prioritizing and lighten your load some. Let me know if that resonates with you, because I need to make sure that the way I'm delivering the message is coming through in a way that relates to you. I want all of you to walk away from these readings not just feeling better, although that's important, but practically being able to apply what comes through. Right? We shouldn't have like our practical life separate from our spiritual, world, we need to actually be applying it practically. True spirituality is exceedingly practical in your everyday life, and you should be able to apply it. Okay. So let me know if that makes sense. And you need to kind of take a step back, really get clear on what your priorities are, and simplify. And one of the reasons they're showing me this is so important is that because whatever you're doing now is going to spiral, right? It's going to be exacerbated with time. So if you're able to handle what you're doing right now, that's fantastic. But if it's more than what you should be doing, in other words, it's you're taking on too much, or you're taking on too much, or you're tempted to be, it will eventually be draining you instead of enhancing your life. So your spirit guides have been they've been nudging you and trying to tell you that. Have you been having little things kind of pop out of place, or break down, or kind of slow you down? Maybe you think everything is going this way, and then all of a sudden something happens. The doorknob pops off, or the you need to replace the same light bulb again, or you get a flat tire. Those types of things, those are indicators that you're on that threshold of stepping that line, and you just need to take a step back, recenter, and prioritize. And that's the main message coming in from your spirit guides for you today. Very good. So I see a grandmotherly figure. Did you lose a grandmother? There's an older woman present, and she actually popped in just before, or just when I, just before your message came in. So she must have been saying there's someone that you want to speak to. So, and I don't know if this is that. I don't know if this is her, but there's a woman that showed up, a spirit that showed up. No, not a grandmother. There's a spirit that was here today with me prior to us starting. Also, if any of you this relates to, um, with the name Rose, like Rosalind or Rosemary, you guys can step forward if she relates to any of you here. Often spirit comes through to me from the other side. That's who I'm actually seeing stepping forward next to you, though. There is an older woman there, right next to you. Let me see if there's anyone else. You didn't lose a calico, did you? I'm still looking for the owner of the calico. I actually see hey Angel. Oh, did you? You have an Aunt Rose spirit world. Okay. So let's make sure we come back to you. Because I've had a Rose coming through to me for a couple of days now. That I was told would have someone to connect with on here. So I'm not going to say for sure it's her. We'll have to do some more checking on that, Angel, but we'll check and see if that's really her, okay? So, oh, you did, Jennifer? Okay, a long time ago. Okay, it doesn't matter how long it's been. So we'll come back to you too. Don't forget, let's see. I need to come back to the two of you in regards to Rose and the calico, because they all came in from the other side. Let's see. So Sarah, what I'm seeing, I mean, I'm going to be very honest with you. Spirit always comes through. So just because I'm not getting someone specific, which is very rare for me, does not mean they're not there. But what I do see around you, when I ask, is there anyone else? And you'd said no to the woman that I described. So it may not be there. The woman in spirit might not be someone that you knew here. It might have been someone you knew before incarnating. It might have been a great grandmother or a great aunt or something like that. Our ancestors are very present with us as well, and they show up in mediumship readings all the time, at least as often as those who have passed on. So you can go back in photographs and look and see this lady has sort of like reddish brown curly hair, and she's very lovely. But what I see when I ask, is there anyone else? Because usually I don't have to ask. I actually see a glass bubble around you, Sarah. I see a glass energy bubble around you. And often, at least for me, it may just be my symbol. But often when I see that, there are some sort of, um trying to say this in a way that is not blaming you. I'm not blaming you. There's like a force field protective energy barrier. And sometimes it might clash with a particular reader. I might pick up on it. It's something that sometimes um, I've had to sort of force my way through. It may be that um, now isn't that time for that person that you want to talk to. It is virtually very rare that I don't get someone coming through when someone asks for it. So, check in with yourself, see if you feel that if do you have some sort of is there a resistance or maybe a super strong desire to connect with this one person that you asked me about? Yes, I do that every night. I put a bubble force around to protect myself. Okay. That's wonderful. I think that's wonderful. But here's the deal is that I am not the only one I see coming through for you. And usually I see lots and lots of people. It does not mean that spirit is not there for you. It just means that it's not coming through to or for me, and I'm not picking up on someone else. And it could be that there's something connected to the energy barrier that you protect yourself because that's emotion of free will, and I will not disrespect that. So you might want to see if you can um maybe surrender that for part of the reading. Okay, your father. Yeah. Because I won't break that. That's sort of a code of honor. And so if I see something like that or I feel that resistance from someone, despite what they think of me, I let that be. Okay. So you want to, okay, there you go. That can break it. Did you have unfinished business with your father? So um, now that you have shared with me, that was the connector energy for him. Hmm. And did he die unexpectedly, Sarah? Were you not expecting his passing? Because I'm seeing there's some unfinished energy there between you. So he is now in a position where having him try to show and explain this to me, he is in a position now where obviously he is free of his ego. He is back to his original purest state, and he feels that he left you with some burdens, and he wants to apologize for that. So on his side now, there is no unfinished business. So it's at this point sort of one sided. So whereas there are some things that you would have liked closure on and to work out, he doesn't need to. And he keeps saying to me, tell you all is well, all is well, all is well. In other words, it's all in the mind. It's all of the ego play. And so all he has for you is unconditional love and support. The aspects of his personality that made things challenging are no longer there. So he's there supporting you, and he's feeling what he's helping me to feel sort of like um, a feeling of frustration maybe at a loss on your part because it seems as though now, it's like, where do you get that business on your own? And he's wanting to tell you that you can. In the symbols of okay, so this makes sense some of why the animal spirits come in as well. So if you look up some of the animal totems that came for you, some of the messages, such as the mockingbird, for example, what you're going to find is there guidance to your own inner voice and your ability to connect to him and get the closure that you want through your own inner voice. And so I would definitely look those up because they have messages for you that are going to guide you to this healing. He wants to tell you that if he could give you one more big hug and just embrace you and wrap his arms around you and tell you how much he loves you and how proud of you he is and how he didn't share that enough with you in this world as a parent. He wants you to feel that. He wants you to feel that love every day. He says he comes to you in sunshine, in light. So I don't know what your connection was to him or with him in light. Yeah, he's very young, but that didn't surprise me. They usually come very young. So the youngness I'm seeing then would be the way that you remembered him. So that's why the feeling of the arms around you to me felt so big and so long. If you were only 4. So he wants you to know that he's always there. He's been there supporting you. He says you feel the presence, but you don't really know how to recognize it. And so there's several different ways in which you need to reestablish communication with him, if this makes sense. This is this is some of the lack of closure that you're feeling. You have not yet reestablished a way to consciously connect and communicate since he passed away. Does that make sense? And a lot of people don't. So, but it's something you can learn to do easily. So, he has learned uh your ways of picking up on things, but you haven't fully recognized or gotten to learn. It's much harder for us on this side how he tries to get through to you. And he would like to establish a closer, like, so when they cross over, they're just as close to you as they were before, but the relationship has transformed, not ended. He's super excited to be able to connect with you. When you walk out of here today from this, you'll be able to connect with him more. I'm asking him what are some ways in which he can do that. Oh, wonderful. Yes, that's perfect. Photographic memory, and you remember his smell. That's amazing. So he says that you guys spend a lot of time in the astral plane together. So he's always, especially when you were a young child, visited you in dreams. So even if you don't remember the journeys to the astral plane, which most people don't remember their astral plane journeys. I mean, we go there every night. Um, but he says that he hangs out with you every night there. Were you making a decision about, he's showing me a decision that you were making about school or training for some sort of, for like skill or career. He's showing me that he was there helping you with that, that you discussed it when you were hanging out in the astral plane. Also, so there are also some thoughts that, okay, so that's a validation for you. That's something he's showing me that he's seen in your life. Um, so he shows me that he tries to be, so he actually tries to come through in all of your clairs, but he speaks to you a lot. And a lot of times it comes through as your intuition. So one of the things I'm getting is that if you learn to discern, uh, if you learn to discern your thoughts from your intuition, this is hard to do at first, but you can do it. And then your intuition from his voice. Once you learn to discern your own just thoughts, like your worry thoughts, your practical cognitive thoughts from your intuition, you're going to be able to, uh, his voice is coming in through your intuition side, and it will sound and feel like his voice. You'll feel that warmth that you would get from him, and it will be like kind, soft spoken, repeated advice. That's him guiding you. He's like, that's me guiding you, agreeing with you, supporting you. He's saying you're a very smart girl and you make really good decisions. Now, he is seeing some social rough spots that he watched you go through. I see one sort of with a group of people. So it was either like a group that you were a part of or a group of social friends. And I see a couple with relationships. Is this ongoing now or is this something that he's showing me from the past? This isn't future, he's showing me. And he says that you're really good at following your gut and staying true to yourself. And that that's one of the things that he's been guiding you with, because he said if he had remained in this world longer, that's one of the things he really wanted to instill in you, was remaining true to yourself, was knowing, I'm getting such chills here because he's waited a long time to share this with you, knowing your worth and your value and not allowing anyone to take that from you or to diminish that. And he says he's very proud of you for that. You may not feel like you're always doing that, but he says you do a good job of that. If this doesn't make sense to you, let me know and I will reassess the way that I'm sharing it. I'm having to translate what he's saying, and he's pretty clear about this. So he's probably pretty good at speaking at you because he's good at using words here. And then one last thing, because I want to make sure I get to move on here today as well. And we have a lot of questions, but are you looking at like, I see you moving. I see you looking to shift or move. So are you like moving living locations or you're not barking. Come over here. Lay down. That little dog decided she's gonna bark here. Are you thinking about moving or looking at moving? Because I see a move in your future. I don't think it's going to be a very prolonged decision. I think it's going to be a nice, easy, lighthearted, uh, you know, want to move, find the right place, move, good circumstances surrounding that. And he's going to be there to support you with all of that. So these are all, no barking. These are all things that you can use for validation that it's truly him there with you and that he's showing me that he sees and observes these things. One last thing I want to leave you with too is that your spirit guides are jumping in and saying, tell her this, tell her this. One of the ways you can strengthen You're welcome, Sarah. One of the ways you can strengthen your conversational abilities with him, because remember, it's very easy for him. He knows what you're thinking, what you're feeling. He can see what you're doing. He knows what you're going through. He knows how much you've missed him. He knows that you feel you've missed out. He knows all of that. And he wants you to know that he hasn't missed out on any part of your life. None. He's been there for every moment. He's been there the whole time. And he can actually be there more fully because he knows everything about it, and he can reach out and guide you and send you energy and support you in ways that he actually couldn't do here. So even though you're missing him here and you're thinking he missed out on your life, please know, and I have such big chills here, he didn't miss out on a thing. Not a thing. And you knew him before you came into this life. And when you leave this world, you're going to know him and be with him again. And you guys are going to be able to joyfully celebrate and laugh over the life experience here that you both shared in whatever way that was. Okay. And know that he's always there, and journal. Write to him in your journal. What's going to start happening is that is going to help you distinguish between what you're thinking and what he's actually saying. And you will literally be able to lay down. I used to lay on my stomach. That's why I said lay down. Lay down and journal to him, and he will be able to write back through, right through your hand, exactly what he wants to tell you. Okay. It's always helped whenever I ask. Yeah. Yeah, he's right there with you. And thank you, Sarah, for by sharing with me who you wanted to speak to. That took your energy bubble down for me so that he was able to come through. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Bless you. Mo, yay. Thank you, Veronica. So Mo says, how can you blend in energies with departed loved ones when meditating? Okay, so my answer to that is you don't. And this might bring up some resistance from some of you, and I'm going to share with you why. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to blend energies meditating. So I'm going to share something, and I think it's sort of controversial for a lot of people. I have a very puristic view on meditation because meditation has been misused, abused, and marketed to a fault. And I do not agree with that at all. I got my transcendental meditation mantra from the Maharishi, one of his students, when I was 3 years old. It was for my 4th birthday. And essentially, what meditation is supposed to be, there are different forms of meditating. I'm aware of that. But I believe the term should only be used in one way, and that is to stop thinking while you are conscious, while you are awake. Okay. And this means single pointed focusness. The whole goal of it is to allow you to return to the true conscious, pure state, ego free, that you were prior to coming into this body, so that you have a little break, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. You don't need any more than 20 minutes. You don't need a 3-hour meditation in order to reconnect with the consciousness you are, for lack of a better term, the observer behind your thoughts, that Eckhart Tolle calls it. Okay. In my opinion, I've been doing this for a long time. I've had my mantra for 45 years. There is absolutely nothing like it because it transcends this reality. And you shouldn't be meditating to get the high or the experience anyway. So, I'm going to sort of rephrase your question into a way that will actually be functional for you, because I love questions, because I see a lot of people coming up with ideas that are really good questions, but that a lot of people or spiritual teachers are passing along that actually don't work. They're actually man-made. They're not really going to take you um to consciousness or to your truest spiritual self. So, meditating can be anything from the things we don't like to do, right? Taking a walk and not talking, being silent in nature, taking a walk, folding laundry, hanging laundry, cutting vegetables. These are all things that we consider monotonous and boring, and we better hire someone else to do, or buy it pre-done. And the sad part about that, hi Sarah. The sad part about that is that hold on one second. I want to finish what I'm saying, and then I'll read your question or your comment here. The sad part about that is it takes away our gift of meditation. And so meditation is really that single pointed focusness, and it's something that it enhances self-control. Okay. Now, if you meditate, truly meditate, can you connect with your loved ones better? Yes. Because what are your loved ones? Your loved ones are the pure consciousness, right? So, can meditation work in with connecting more deeply with your loved ones? Yes. But you don't want to try to bring your loved one's energy in where you're meditating. That is for you to reconnect to the other side, just your golden thread connection. Okay? Now, if you're using the term meditating for how when you sit down to spend time with spirit, can you connect more deeply with your loved ones? One of the things I would say is self-awareness. Okay. And Sarah, I'll get to you in just one second. Is really self-awareness and awareness. All of this requires you being aware of your thoughts. And I heard a wonderful reader on here the other day. I don't remember his name, but he was talking about the same thing. You need to learn when your mind is just chattering and telling you things, and it's thoughts you're believing, and when it's actually the knowing, the conscious awareness. So as you learn to discern those two, then your loved one's energy that's already there, it's already there. So you don't need to bring it in. What you need to do is get yourself in a place where you recognize it, because it's just recognizing the subtleties, right? And when our mind is loud and noisy, we can't recognize the subtleties. So let me know, Mo, if that is answering your question. I have more to say about that, but let me know if that makes sense to you before I move on, because your question is a really good one everyone needs to hear. Sarah says, true, when I meditate, I connect with my guides. To connect with my guides, I can't. When I meditate to clear my mind and just be in the present, I see my guide and gets lots of info. Yes. Now, again, though, that's two different things. So I love your comment. It's still two different things. Pure meditation, you're not talking to your guides. You're not talking to your angels. You don't need to. You know why? Because you're connecting to source yourself. You're doing what your guides and angels and loved ones do when they come through me to talk to you. You're just doing it. You just are. You're not just being present. You guys are presence yourself. You are eternal. You have access to all source information. You are part of source. You have been eternal before you were born, and you will be eternal after you are born. You get to grow and evolve eternally. There is no end to it. So meditation, pure meditation, which I don't see very many people doing. I see them trying this kind and that kind and this and that and this and that. And some people say, oh, I can't do it. I can't still my mind. That's okay. Meditation is the end of all resistance. Okay. Because if thought is synonymous with ego, and ego is synonymous with resistance, and resistance causes all your struggle and suffering, then isn't it nice to have a 5 to 20 minute break where, you just start with 2 to 5 minutes where you can use Om if you want, or you can count like the Zen meditations, where you can just stare at a candle. And you start this so that when the thoughts come in, you don't resist them. You don't try to push them away. You don't try to get rid of them. You just relax. And you just let them go on by. Just, okay, there it is, and let it go. Right? Because when everyone starts truly meditating, especially, with a mantra, that's what happens. Okay. Debbie says, lately, I just can't shut my mind up to meditate. And that's because you're trying to shut your mind up to meditate. And it doesn't work. That will never work. So what you've got to do is take away the resistance, right? So stop trying and just relax and just do it for 2 to 5 minutes and be okay with it, because what you resist will persist. What you resist will persist. So as soon as you are surrendering and accepting to it, you'll find it just gets easier and easier. Your heart rate will slow down. You don't want to be like, so many people are like, in a meditation because they can't get their thoughts out. If you try to control your thoughts, that is feeding your ego, and it's just going to be harder. Okay. And I would, if I were all of you, this is just my advice from teaching this for a really long time and struggling with this myself. Don't try to combine meditating with talking to your angels and spirit guides. Okay. Remember that they're two different things, even though that term is thrown around and everybody's like, oh, meditate on your angels. No, use that word for something else. It's single pointed focusness. When you want to connect with your guides and angels, be aware of your thoughts as you go through your everyday life. Ask yourself, is this me? Is this my thought? Or ask your guides, okay, guys, what do I do here? And that first thought that sneaks in your consciousness before you can question it and think about it and make up another answer, that's them. If it repeats itself 3 times or more and it's a constant gentle nudging, that's them. And like anything, it just takes practice. So the more you practice this, the more you can differentiate, the more you get good at fine-tuning the subtleties that you're picking up on. This is going to become so clear and obvious to you. And then you'll find that your meditation time is just your 5 to 20 minutes of just you being source, you being present. And you don't have to get up from a meditation and feel like you've gotten any information. Guess what? Information is your mind. That's your human self. That's not your consciousness. So don't have any expectation. When you come out of your meditation, everything that you needed was already done in the meditation. You can come out feeling like crap. You can come out feeling great. You can come out feeling like you're high. You can come out feeling like you've got wisdom. It doesn't matter. As long as you were practicing the meditation, just saying the mantra. Once you just say the mantra and thoughts come in and you just refocus. So instead of trying to push the thoughts out, just refocus on the mantra, refocus on the mantra, or refocus on the candle, right? Because you're going to go where your focus is. This is teaching you to focus. Once you can learn to do that, then when you're not meditating, your angels and spirit guides, your intuition are all going to come through a lot stronger. Okay. I have to shut myself up because I could go on for hours about this. This is so important because it may not sound like fun to some of you, but this is life changing. It's completely life transforming because when you truly meditate, you remember who you are. And once you do that, it's so much easier to connect to your angels and spirit guides. Okay, but keep that practice separate. If you really want to bring in your angels and spirit guides, journal, write to them. And the reason I say that is because it takes non-physical and it brings it into the physical through you. It literally takes what non-physical is saying to you and it writes it on paper. And I wouldn't type it. Some of you will want to type, and that's fine. You can type. But when you cross the midline of your brain by writing it in a journal, it's super powerful. And eventually it's going to help you discern your own thoughts, your ego thoughts, from what spirit's telling you. Okay. Beth. Oh, good. I'm glad this is helpful. Okay. Jennifer, I'm glad you told us that. It makes a lot of sense. Love the info, Chrissy. Good. Okay. Awesome. I know I get really passionate and thorough about it, guys, but this is the stuff I find that people aren't getting. And this is the information. It's information, right? Which is a human thing. It's not a spirit thing. Spirit doesn't need information. Spirit already is. It knows. It has wisdom. So the information will help you as a human. Let's see. Jennifer would love to know what visited me that night I woke up and couldn't move. Okay, so it wasn't who or what visited you. It was that you'd had an out of body experience, Jennifer. So that's actually, I'm sorry that you had that. That's actually common for some people who have an out of body experience. What happens is your spirit doesn't actually leave your body. There's a part of your consciousness that focuses back out of your body, which is what an OBE really is. And so then it sort of disengages your brain and your nervous system, so that it can focus elsewhere while you're still in human form. Sometimes what happens is if you wake up and you become conscious of it prior to your body being aware that it's reconnecting to your nervous system and your brain, and you're more aware of it first, then what happens is you're sort of between phases, and it gives you that paralyzed experience. So I'm sorry about that. It wasn't anything dark or dangerous. um, you were in the astral plane. You were playing out in the astral plane, and you woke and became more conscious, prior to being fully reactivated in your body. Does that make sense? So uh, don't worry or be afraid of any of that. Okay, just don't be afraid of it. You don't have any, you are safe. You have a good, strong, beautiful energy field. You have lots of angels and guides around you. You don't have any dark, bad, evil energies or anything coming and paralyzing you. It's just purely what I just explained. So you don't have to worry about that. You can, if you find that it happens a few more times, you can go in and ask your angels to um, please help ease that process. What probably happened was something sensory startled you awake that you're not aware of. There was probably just something sensory in your body that caused you to have that awakening before you were fully reintegrated. Okay, but don't be afraid of it. You're fine and safe. I hope that helps, answers your question. um, let's see. I didn't have my phone over here. I had it plugged in. I know there were a couple other people that I had comments on here initially that I wanted to get to, and I can't remember everybody's name. I'm sorry, guys. When I get readings, I remember everything about in the reading, but not always the real stuff, the people's names. Okay, Shelly says, is it spirit putting random songs in my head all the freaking time? I keep bursting into singing songs I don't even know. Oh my gosh, that's fabulous. What total joy. What total joy. Oh my gosh. So yeah, it's also your it's also your self, your higher self, picking up on other energies and songs. So what I'm seeing as it seems like you have pretty far reaching antenna, and I'll say antennae. That's what I'm seeing about you. And so you pick up on, so we all do, right? Everybody's thoughts, our thoughts are actually outside of our head. We've got these different etheric fields and energy bodies, even outside, they're outside of space and time. So even aside from those who you're around, we all kind of pick up and merge with other people's energies. And what I see is that you are actually a really big receiver. You can let me know if that resonates with you. That way, if you say no, I can kind of reiterate what I'm saying or go back and ask spirit, okay, why are you telling me this? So we can make sense of it. But I get that you're a strong receiver. And that's why you're getting all these songs. So a lot of them aren't even related to you. It's just your consciousness picking up on these things and these energies, and they're coming through you. So over the years, it looks as though, I don't know if you're aware that you've done this or not, but you've had to sort of refine your filter. And maybe it wasn't a conscious thing. You've had to sort of refine your filter because as a big receiver, you have a tendency to pick up programs that are not yours. So all of these programs from these songs are not all yours, but they're coming out via songs because that sort of fits your nature. And singing and being in being joyful is a great way for spirit to integrate itself, your consciousness, your spirit, to enjoy life. And so I think it's beautiful that it comes through as songs and that you're singing. That's absolutely awesome and positive. Just know that a lot of what you're picking up on isn't even yours. It's just like you have this really big radar antenna and it just picks up on all this stuff, which is really cool. The only time it's not cool is if you're picking up on somebody else's worry or problems or negative emotions and energy, and then you have to discern, wait, is this mine, or am I just picking up on someone else? And with you, I'm getting sometimes you pick up on things that aren't even from people that you know. So that's something that you can just kind of ask that question, get a quick response from spirit, and then be able to move on. Let me know if that makes sense. But that's great. I sing all the time too. Mhm. Okay. Sarah says, strange one, but a year or two before I started developing, I heard a noise in my room, thought it was one of my kids, looked up from my pillow and saw a dark, skinny figure with no face hovering above my bed. Anyone else experienced something like this? It would be interesting to know. Okay. So, were you living in what you believe to be was like an energy vortex there where you were living at the time? So there's a couple things there. I know this sounds ooga booga, guys, but this is exactly what I'm seeing happen. So there were some, like a lot of times people don't see these, but a lot of times when we have it's so the figure was harmless, but um a lot of times when we have something we see like that has no face, or it looks dark and we can't identify it, a lot of times energy and spirit come through where we don't see the facial features. We don't always see the detail. When it's dark, it has a tendency, our brain has a tendency to say, oh my God, it's something negative, it's something dark, it's a demon. This was not anything like that. It's just a lot of times, even sometimes when spirit shows itself to me, I don't always see a facial figure first. I usually just see the shape, and then it'll come into full figure. Now, when loved ones come, like for you guys for readings, the figure usually turns into a full-fledged color person, just looking like you and I, only maybe a little bit grainy, so I can see the transparency and the energy, because they have a hard time showing themselves to us. If it's something from an energy portal, like through a different dimension, which I believe what you were seeing was, then a lot of times that full figure never comes full for us. Sometimes it will. It depends on it depends on us. It depends on how aware that being is, whether they're there or not. It depends on how thick the veil between the dimensions was at the time. She said, my old house was very active with spirits, used to scare me. This figure frightened the life out of me. I bet it did. I can feel that. I can feel that. That was super scary. But this was an energy from a different dimension. There was like an energy portal there. uh, Especially, was this the house did this house have 2 floors? Because I'm seeing a height level here to, this portal, sort of like this shape, like an oblong shape, and, um, this entity, it didn't even, I mean, in the other dimension, it wasn't floating. It was just floating in your dimension. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I'm seeing, is that it's upstairs. That usually means I'm seeing what you were seeing through your eyes. Um, so thank you for validating that. And so this energy didn't even mean to be there. There was this energy portal, and sometimes they get sort of sucked through. we can look the same way to the other side as well. So we often look scary to those in other dimensions and portals. If we accidentally step through, or there's a thin wall between an energy portal, or we have an OBE and we go into another dimension, sometimes we're aware of who and what's there. Sometimes we aren't. Sometimes they're aware of us, or some of them are aware of us and not others, and they get creeped out by us. Sometimes we show up without facial features. So just keep in mind, this is something that's actually pretty common, where the walls between dimensions and paradigms are very thin. Okay. Sarah says the night it happened, I had been to the Royal Albert Hall in London. My husband done work there and was invited for a tour. Awesome, around the building. So I thought, Brett, yes, that's exactly what I was going to tell you. Before I read the last line, you brought it home with you. Yeah. But it didn't come home. So here's you. It didn't come home like following you. Well, it's different on my screen. It didn't come home following you this way. You just connected to the energy, and then when you got home, it followed you by coming through the portal. But it didn't. It wasn't trying. It would just got you guys just got linked. It got connected to you. It wasn't trying to follow you. It just got kind of stuck to you. And a lot of times that will happen. We don't even realize it, though. It happens all the time, but people don't normally see it. Sometimes they might feel like, oh, I've got bad luck today, or I'm having a hard day, or my energy feels down, but they don't necessarily see it as the energy coming back with them. Great questions. Brolick, I'd like to know more about the ringing in my ears and the frequent hand tingling. Oh my gosh, there were so many people I wanted to get to today. So I only have like 3 minutes left. So, okay. So we have to be very careful here. Honestly, I'm not going to be ooga booga, and I don't have some brilliant spiritual answer for you here. I'm honestly getting that the hand tingling is coming from um, you being tight and having nerves tight and pinched up across the back of your shoulders and neck. And that is causing tingling in your hands. Now, it's different if you're feeling chills, like an energy passing through you. Those are usually spirits and loved ones trying to get your attention. But if it's actual tingling, I would honestly go get a massage or go to the chiropractor, because I'm getting that is something physical. Let's see. It depends on what kind of ringing it is. If it's an actually pure physical ringing, then I also believe that that's also due to something going on with you energetically. I mean, energetically, but that's actually something physical. You should probably get checked out. If it is the clair ringing, where you can hear it, like when you hear people call your name, but you're not hearing it with your ears, but it's an actual definite sound, then that is spirit trying to get your attention. So with that one, what I would do is I would go and I'd sit down and I would ask, and I'd ask for I got like a minute and a half. I'd ask for confirmation, and I'd say, if this ringing is you trying to get my attention, please validate this for me in another way, and give them some very specific ways. Like, be like, send me really obvious signs, and they'll send you a bird, or they'll send you an animal, or they'll send you a sign on a license plate. Okay. So that you can validate that. But with the tingling, I definitely think you need to loosen up back here. That's what I'm feeling for you. That's what I'm being shown for you. Okay. I hope that helps. All right. Let's see. So I only have 45 seconds. I'm sorry, I can't see who the Facebook user is. I can tell you in the last 30 seconds that your little brother is there. He is present with you, and he loves you. And I know I only have 20 seconds left, so I'm sorry I didn't get back to this. What I would recommend is, I want you to know spirit comes through for you at the right time. So since this popped up here, and I don't even see your name right now, I'm guessing that the right time whether it's me or someone else, is going to pop up for this reading. And I would keep showing up in this group this week, and your message from your brother will come through. Okay. Guys, I have to close up for you. I'm sorry, but please join me again next week. I love you all so much. Spirit will come through for you. You guys will get your readings. Okay. Mwah. Thank you for wonderful questions and conversations today. See you next week, everyone. Bye bye.